Hi, it's Jerimiah Taylor with Keller Realty. And today I want to talk a little bit about the offers that are happening in the market today that are coming in above list price, where buyers are actually removing their appraisal contingencies. That appraisal contingency, if you're not in the industry doing this every day, that may not make a ton of sense as to what exactly that is. So in most loan programs, a buyer is going to have to get an appraisal. Now, appraisal is an appraiser's opinion of value of a property. Now, keep in mind, it's an opinion. It is not a fact. It's an opinion of value, and it's one that can be contested if you disagree with it. But appraisers are licensed individuals that have years of training and apprenticeship to develop what they believe a credible opinion of value is for what the property would resell for in the event that the lender had to deal with a default and resell the property. And so as far as a lender is concerned, they put a lot of weight into that appraised value. So for instance, let's say that you're buying a home and the home gets multiple offers, and let's say that home was listed at 250. A lot of times today we're seeing that property sell for 275, 280,000, sometimes even more. In San Diego, maybe that's an $800,000 house selling for $1 million. Well, the reality is that the appraiser doesn't have comps to look at or comparable sales to look at to justify that high of a sales price, which means the only way that that deal is going to get across the finish line is with a buyer that is willing to make up the difference from their own funds. And so functionally, the way that that works is, let's go back to our $250,000 example. Let's say that that home sells for $275. And all the comparable sales in recent history that the appraiser is going to look at indicate a value between 250 and 260. And let's say the appraiser feels confident being aggressive and bringing it at 260. Well, that still leaves a $10,000 gap between that 260 and the 275 that the contract is for. Now, if the buyer doesn't have the means to make up the difference plus pay their down payment, they're not going to be able to get approved for the loan, and the seller's going to just end up having to renegotiate the deal. And that's why it's so important as a seller, when you're reviewing multiple offers, or if you're a buyer making offers and waiving that appraisal contingency, you need to understand that the lender is going to base your down payment percentage off of the lower of the sales price or the appraised value. So if the home is, let's say you're getting an FHA loan, it's 3.5% down, right? Or even a VA loan with 0 down. And if the home appraises for 260, your down payment is going to be calculated off that 260. So if you're a VA buyer and the appraisal comes in at 260 and you have 0 down, that's a great deal. Well, if you're in contract at 275, you got to come up with that extra 15 grand. And if you've waived that appraisal contingency, there's a real chance that you lose your earnest money if you have to cancel that contract. So it's super important as a buyer to understand the offers that you're making, the waivers that you're putting in place. And then on the seller side, it's important to understand that, hey, if a buyer's getting, let's call it an FHA or a conventional loan or even a VA loan, and we know that the comparable sales are maybe 10 to 20K under the price that we're about to accept an offer at, that we want proof of funds. We want to make sure that the buyer has the financial means to be able to perform on that contract in the event that there is an appraisal shortfall. And if they don't, then that highest offer that has the highest dollar amount may not be the best offer, because if the appraisal comes in short, they're just going to want to renegotiate and they're not going to have the ability to close. So maybe you have another offer that's 5,000 lower, or maybe even lower than that, but they have the means to cover some level of appraisal shortage. That may be the offer for you. So it's the importance of understanding what's happening in the world today. In every real estate market, just about, homes are selling very quickly. They're selling over the ask price. And what's important as a seller is that you let the market dictate that price. If you try to price ahead of the market and say, okay, well, homes are selling in the 275, 280 range, and I think that's where I'm going to get an offer, so I'm going to go ahead and price it at 280, chances are you get no offers. And we're seeing that happen more and more in today's market, that sellers who are trying to price ahead of the market are being punished, and that sellers who are pricing at the market, letting the market do the heavy lifting and drive those prices up through multi-offer competition, they're the ones that are winning. And so, as always, pricing a home at a price that will cause it to sell, not the price you think it'll sell at, is the winning strategy. It's Jerimiah Taylor signing off today from the Taylor team at Keller Williams.